Of course, I do it again. There we go. Welcome inside Kicking It with Kunkel, everybody. We get to do this. We get to be proud. We get to be positive. We get to talk about some fun things tonight. We don't have to blow a bunch of smoke up your ass telling you that the Texans did this well, even though they got another loss. This one is a legitimately good win for the Texans. It wasn't a must win. You know my rules and my feelings on what is a must win. But Kicking It with Kunkel brought to you by Socorro. Shout out to the boys and shout out to Rhino, who's usually in the shows. He got a free bottle shipped to him this week for his involvement in the Super Chat. You can do that as well. Great tequila, no additives, 100% blue agave. It is elite. It is legit. You don't have to go out and buy it. I'll send you a bottle for free if you get involved in the Super Chat and we hook up as well. We're going to have the, by the way, obviously, if you're watching anywhere, go to YouTube, do me a solid, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, set up the alerts, do the whole 9 yards. Be ready for every time we go live here on Kicking It. We're going to get to D'Amico Ryans. We're going to talk about Davis Mills. You're going to hear from him. And, of course, after I went live on the field, right after the game, I went into the locker room, talked to Trent Brown, who got a start today, which is interesting. Will Anderson Jr., Dalton Schultz, the tight end. First of all, having an awesome year. Had a drop today, a huge drop, but had another good game. Is having a very good year and is a great interview. And he was great today. Kamari Lassiter, Danielle Hunter with 3.5 sacks, 7 tackles. Dude is an absolute cyborg. And Azeez Al-Shaair again getting involved with the Jaguars. He also has another great interview per usual. And then we're going to break down the possessions, the offensive line. Let's start here because I don't want, excuse me. I don't want the fact that this huge comeback win is awesome, and that's where you want to talk about the offense and the good things that Nick Caley did and the great things that Davis Mills did. And obviously, this is an elite defense, but I don't understand the working of the offensive line. They're doing everything they can to avoid starting Blake Fisher for several snaps. Clearly, he is just their jumbo package guy. Trent Brown gets the start, and then City So gets the start. Hasn't been around the team, been on the practice squad all season long. Trent Brown been inactive. He gets the start for Titus Howard. And then Juice Scruggs comes in for So and plays pretty much the entire game after that. So I just don't understand the thinking behind why they're starting guys after they're rotating guys at left guard for most of the season as well with Laken Tomlinson and Juice Scruggs. But yet those guys can't get on the field when Titus Howard and then Ed Ingram are out. Now, I think overall it worked for most of the day. I think it showed that Nick Caserio has a lot of work to do when it comes to building this offensive line and getting the guys in the building that he wants, including the depth. Not only just the starters, but the depth. Like, where do they turn? Because it just doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. It seems like if you're on the practice squad or you're inactive, then you're next in line to start. Not the backup, but the guy that isn't even active. I mean, we saw this when Christian Kirk got hurt. Braxton Berrios was inactive for most of the season, goes out to Seattle, starts and plays more than Jalen Knoll. And then Jalen Knoll's not returning punts tonight. And then he is because Traymon Smith is returning punts, but then he fumbles. Like, why is it so hard for this Texans coaching staff to start their best players all the time and get them the ball and put them in position to have success? Again, I'm not trying to take away from today's win, but let's not let winning, albeit the best deodorant, cover up some of the stinky stuff that we saw today. There's definitely some question marks as to what was going on and why. This is part of the conversations that we've had all year on Kicking with Kunkel, right? It's like, are the players being put in the best position to have success? And I don't think going into this game with the offensive line, what it was, and Jalen Knoll not returning punts or kicks, like they were not being put in position to have success early on. And then we saw, in part because of Traymon Smith's fumble, and then Davis Mills had an interception. There were absolutely horrible penalties early on as well. You had the punt return for a touchdown. Like, this game started off horribly, and the Texans all but collapsed. They were out of this game, but shout out to the defense for allowing, I believe, 87 yards in the first half to keep the Texans alive and in this game. So super interesting to see the offense finally get things going. I said it a little bit after the show when I was walking after I was in the locker room. I was walking out to my car, leaving the stadium, and I just did a quick video that I posted on TikTok and Instagram and some other places. And I said, this is one of those games that you've been waiting for from the Texans, just for the offense to show up, just for the offense to actually be good enough, not like fall forward and fail upwards, but actually go out there and produce, move the ball, score some points, not just because the defense gets the ball or you're scoring defensive touchdowns type of thing, but actually seeing the offense move the ball. We saw them do something today that they have not done all season long. They are the last team in the NFL to finally score a touchdown from inside the 3-yard line. It was that pitch to Woody Marks to the left side, finally ending that drought. Then they had a chance to do it again later in the game. They were on the 2-yard line, but then promptly had 2 false starts. And there were a lot of moments here where you're thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. There's a lot of moments where you're thinking, all right, it's time to tank. There's a lot of emotions today. I actually talked to one Texans fan that said they completely wrote them off, and then all of a sudden they were all in, and now they have high hopes for the season once again. So the emotions as being a Texans fan is real. It is a roller coaster. Get involved in the super chat, everybody. I want to hear what everybody's got to say about tonight's game. Let's go inside the locker room. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at the drive chart, because you guys know how much I like this, and I love looking at the plays and the yards gained. The yards gained's fine. I like looking at the plays and the first downs gained, because it tells you kind of how long you're on the field, or at least how your conversions and so on and so forth. So the first possession, horrible interception, and then the fumble right away, and then a punt after what seemed like a good drive was going. So a horrible start for the Texans. As we mentioned, we go in the second quarter, a punt on a 3-and-out, you lose 7 yards, and then finally you start to get things going. 8 plays, 61 yards, 2 first downs. You hold on to that ball for 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Again, I did a video this week. The Texans going into this weekend were the 3rd best team in the NFL when it came to time of possession. So they've been holding on to the ball. They've been doing their thing with that. It's when they get in the red zone, when it's time to convert on 3rd downs at a consistent rate, that they are really struggling. Worst team in the NFL when it came to red zone conversion rate, 36.36% going into this game. I believe they were, what were they? I believe they were 1 for 2. Yeah, they were 1 of 2 today. So you only get 2 trips to the red zone. Not ideal. You would like to get in the red zone more than that. But if you're only going to get in twice, you convert once, that's 50% conversion rate. There's your success. You take that and you can build off of that going forward. So after that 8-play, 61-yard drive ending in a field goal, then that's where they finally get their first rushing touchdown, or any touchdown for that matter, or even a first down. They had no first downs or touchdowns from the 3-yard, inside the 3-yard line this season. They're the only team to do that. So they go 5 plays, 50 yards, 5 first downs on that play or on that drive, and then a touchdown, and then the end of the half. And then you come out in the third quarter, 1 drive, you go 7 plays, 18 yards, give it up on downs. And then how about the third quarter? This is where finally Nick Caley started clicking. I don't know if he saw something with the Jaguars defense. I don't know if the Jaguars defense was exhausted. There were a litany of penalties on both sides of the field for each team that kind of kept each team alive at certain points. I mean, the hand to the face that backed the Jaguars up for the on the final drive of the game, when Trevor Lawrence had scrambled, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. We had Baker Mayfield scramble and get in position to win the game. We had Bo Nix scramble and get position to win the game. And then here we go again with Trevor Lawrence with major yards. But then a play or two later, I believe it was, hands to the face. They are backed up. And then you saw how the game ended with a Sheldon Rankins score. So touchdown, touchdown, touchdown on their final 3 possessions. And you see how they held onto the ball. They moved the ball, 5 first downs, 3 first downs, 7 first downs. That's what I'm looking for in drives. Holding onto the ball, moving the ball, not big plays all the time. I'm looking for consistency throughout the game. Now let's get over to D'Amico Ryans, and I'll chime in kind of in and out as I see fit.
Thank you guys for being here. What a game. First, I have to give glory to God. It's not about us and praising us or what we do. It's all glory to God, and I'm just thankful for finding a way to win this game, especially coming in with a heavy heart. Lost my best friend, Earl Cochran, so I know he's smiling down on us right now. He would be very proud.
That's tough. Not cool.
Two questions. What did he mean to you? How was it to get that win for him? And what was it that felt like? How about I ask the second question after you answer that one?
Okay. First off, you talk about Earl, just a stand-up guy, close friend. I mean, loving, caring, big heart, give the shirt off his back to anybody. Like he was just treated people the right way, loved people. Always had a big smile, big heart, very wise. So I'm just thankful to have had him as a friend here.
And you all hadn't finished games this year, but you all were able to do it here. Got contributions, offense and defense. What do you think was key to being able to do that?
Yeah, the key for our entire game today is, no one blinked. Like I talked to the guys last night about this is going to be a heavyweight fight, and we got to keep throwing punches no matter how it looks. It may look rough. It doesn't matter. I didn't want anybody to blink. I wanted everybody to.
When we go into the locker room, you'll hear what he's referencing, what he's talking about, that heavyweight fight. A couple guys talked about it in the locker room. It's actually a cool thing that D'Amico showed them.
Continue to press forward, to keep punching, right? And that's what they did. Coming out in the second half, like it's the best second half we've had because we played complementary football. Everything that could go wrong went wrong as soon as the game started.
Too many penalties.
And so for us to battle and have that resilience, like that's what good football looks like. That's what we've been missing. I told the guys we've been in this situation before in the fourth quarter where we've allowed the quarterback to scramble and make a play. So we knew the D-line had to come up big and get stops for us, and they did that. So when you have, I can't say all of that without saying how Davis played. Davis did an outstanding job of leading the offense all week, and he did it again today to come out and have a pick on the first drive, right? It's easy to go in the tank, but he bounced back. He kept battling, kept making plays. And, he goes for 3 touchdowns and the one rushing one that we needed the most at the end. So I'm proud of Davis for the way he stepped up, led all week.
You've been a part of 2 of the biggest comebacks in franchise history. Obviously the one against the Chargers and obviously today. Just going to today, this was the second, I think, tied for the most biggest comeback this season among all NFL teams. What are you feeling having been able to be a part of that?
Oh man, my heart is full. I'm so proud of our guys, man, because it's something we've been trying to find, right? Is that belief, that resilience that you need, and I'm just so proud of our guys and not just the player. I'm proud of the coaches and players. Like I was just asking them all week, just to make sure we're all in this thing together. No matter how the game looks, everybody just stick together, continue to bring positive energy, right? And we finish with the knockout punch there at the end that we needed.
Coach, you mentioned the fact about being proud of these guys, but it's one game, but one game can be pivotal in the season. Do you have to get to the end and finally realize what this game might have meant to this team, or just take it for what it's worth today?
Yeah, I take it. I take this moment right now, and I'm a relish in this moment and love this moment for how our team battled, right? And yes, I hope it's a springboard for us, moving throughout the season, that we continue to see that it doesn't matter, right, what the scoreboard looks like. It's about how you execute, how you finish, how you play together, and how you have that belief in one another and in yourself, right, to go out and finish games like this.
Coach, I also have a 2-part question. First, throughout the week, watching film on Trevor Lawrence and the Jags offensively, what did you and Coach Burke gain from that film study to be able to kind of take away Trevor Lawrence and the rushing impact that the Jags have been able to have on the season for them so far? And also being down C.J. Stroud and a lot of the guys that has Howard and some of the leaders, can you speak to how impactful and important Nico Collins was for today's victory?
Yeah, from the film study, what we saw is main thing we needed to stop the run. We knew they were going to be committed to stopping to rushing the football, so we did have to do a good job of stopping it. We didn't do our best, like we could have done much better, but we did enough. All right, and we wanted to be in a position and make them have to throw the football to allow our D-line have to get after the quarterback. And that's what they did. They finished with 5 sacks. They did an outstanding job. And Daniil had one of his best games. So really proud of the effort up front and how those guys rushed. And that was our plan, and we executed it the right way. And when we needed it most, there at the end of the game, they came up big time for us. Nico has always been a big part of what we do. And he shined today. Nico and Davis have had that connection for a while. So it was fun to see those guys just getting back to what they've done before. And Nico he doesn't say anything, but he's one of our hardest workers. No matter how the game goes, he's always ready for an opportunity to make big plays for us.
Nico, knowing you as a defensive-minded coach coming on in and seeing Shelton Rankins be able to put this game away with a defensive touchdown, just how exciting was it to be able to watch as this defense finally was able to get that crushing blow and put this thing away?
Oh, man, it's one of the most exciting plays I've been a part of. To end the game like that with Rankins going in to score, man, wow. It was an awesome play, and I was trying to meet him down there in the end zone.
From your perspective, obviously you guys are down 19 in the second half. That's obviously able to ride. How much do you feel like a win like this could turn the tide for a season? Because when you go from 3-6 to 4-5, how much do you feel like a win like this could turn the tide in the season?
This team, this game, all right, should do a lot when guys watch the film and they can see like the things we can even clean up in this game where we weren't
A lot
clean,
to clean up.
or
A
bad
lot.
things happen. And I just look at the game as I look at life. It's like bad things are gonna happen. Like, do you hang your head and go run and hide? Do you quit? Do you give up? No. Like, you got to keep punching. In life, in football, you got to keep punching. And that's what this game showed today, man. You just have to keep playing with heart, playing with resilience, and hopefully the film shows our guys proof that we can battle and win in any type of game.
I think y'all outscored them 26-0 in the fourth quarter. But at what point did you feel the tide really changing for you all? Did you feel like you all were going to, you always have a chance, but you all were going to make this comeback?
I felt like we were actually moving the ball really well, and like all day offensively. Felt like we moved it well. Third downs, we were staying on the field, an area emphasis that we needed to improve, and also in the red zone, like just seeing some of the plays. Davis made critical third down there, backed up, nice throw and catch to Dalton there towards our sideline. I think seeing the touchdown
Unbelievable
to Hig,
play to Dalton.
right? It was just
Huge
it was play after play that we ran. The way we ran the football, I thought Woody did a really nice job running the ball. Thought we created some displacement up front with our offensive line. Just a collective effort by everybody doing what they're supposed to do. We talk about executing all the time. When it doesn't go right, we don't execute, but that's what it looks like when we just execute the fundamentals.
Kind of following up on that with Jalen and with Woody for their impact, to see how well they were able to make plays in this game, how impressive you were with their maturity to understand what a moment this was to be able to force the comeback.
Yeah, our young guys, they continue to impress. Woody, Jalen Hig, I mean, they've all. Jay Noel makes big plays
see him
every
more.
game. It was fun to see Higgins and what he's capable of doing, just a big target on the outside, going up, making contested catches, doing an outstanding job. He's done that all year. We just got to find a way to continue to get him the ball. We got playmakers, a lot of guys to spread the ball around too, and I feel like our quarterback's done a good job of doing that.
Coach, you mentioned some of the 2025 draft class players. A lot of guys had some great individual performances today. Can you talk about the rookie left tackle, Ariante Ursary? Some of the things that you guys are just seeing from him and how he continues to be an ascending player for that offensive line.
I can't say enough about Tay. He's playing the toughest position in football, like left tackle. You're on that island a lot, and to be a rookie in that spot, I mean, from the first week till now, like he's gotten better each week. He's getting better, right? And he's doing a great job of, not losing focus. He's just locked in, doing his job the right way, and he has that desire. It means a lot to him to protect the quarterback, and he's doing a great job of it. All right, thank you, guys.
So very upbeat and positive. D'Amico Ryan's prayers to him and his family and friends for losing his buddy and being able to get the win today for him. I'm sure means a lot to him, as he mentioned. But Listen, I still want to see more Jalen Noel. I got to see more of these rookies. They're your best playmakers. So to see more of Woody Marks today was great. Woody Marks had himself a day. Certainly some big plays. I think the biggest plays they felt like today were Davis Mills made. He made time with his legs and found Dalton Schultz on that third down late in the game. That D'Amico touchdown along their sideline. I mean, that was just an incredible play. And he put the ball in the right spot. So Woody Marks today had 14 carries, 63 yards, and a tutty on the ground. And then receiving, he had 2 catches for 18 yards along with 12 yards. So Woody Marks really contributing. The guys on the ground, by the way, they rushed for 5.9 yards on the ground between Davis Mills, Nick Chubb, and Woody Marks. You rush for yards like that, you're going to have success. Like, stick with the run. We've seen the Texans have success in the past and not stick with the run. They've abandoned it. So Nick Caley, credit to him for doing a nice job with that. Probably, it is situation dictated whether you pass or run, but they ran the ball 22 times. They passed it 45 times. But to Davis's credit, he was cooking, man. He had a completion percentage of 60%, 27 to 45. Took 2 sacks today, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. That in the air, and then of course the game-winning touchdown on the ground using his legs. I mean, that was a great job by him to do that. He had 3 rushes for 20 yards. And long was that 14-yarder for the touchdown. So Davis Mills had himself a damn good game. So let's hear from the quarterback.
What was your week of practice like in preparation for today's game? And also being in this situation before for Houston, having to win big games, how were you able to kind of shake off the early game blunders to have the performance you had?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off. I think our team had a really great week of practice. Kaylee put together a great offensive game plan along with the other offensive coaches. And
he says that I asked a handful of guys, and it should be I can't remember who. I asked Dalton Schultz. Has Nick Caley done anything different in the games that they're having success versus the games that they're not having success? And they said, like, not really, no. He's calling the same game. They're just executing better. So whether it's true or not, they're at least on the same page with that. And the execution today was good. But I did think it was interesting that a lot of guys I talked to on and off the record said that today they were able to execute, but also that they didn't shoot themselves in the foot. But it's not really true. So there were a lot of penalties today. I can't parse them out offense and defense, but there were 11 penalties, 80 yards in the Texans. And to be fair, they overcame a lot of penalties today as well. They did that against the 49ers too, where they shot themselves in the foot, but they were able to overcome and persevere through those, because in the past, when they would get backed up, they wouldn't be able to do that. And I almost wonder if that has to do with the lack of, the good defense on the other side of the ball. But the Texans were so damn beat up. I don't care how beat up the defense was. The fact that they win a game without C.J. Stroud, Titus Howard, and Ed Ingram on the offensive side of the ball is awesome. So let's get back to Davis Mills here.
We were able to go out there today and execute. And then to kind of answer the second part of that, I think anytime you kind of start off a little slow, the mentality of our team is to attack every play with aggression and just going out there to try to execute every play at a high level. So we were able to do that. Coaches stayed aggressive. I have always had the mentality to stay confident regardless of what happened on the play before. It's kind of like the old basketball mentality, shoot or shoot. If you stop, you're not going to see shots go in. So I think today was just a great team win. Defense was able to keep getting off the field, slow down their offense. Special teams made some plays, and as the game went on, our offense kept getting better and better, and we were able to go down there and find a way to win it at the end.
Shoot or shoot. Okay, Davis.
Yeah, that was kind of had an interview right after the game on the field, and we had we ended up calling a play that we had already called in the game. They kind of just sat back in zone coverage, and as I was getting through my progression, scramble lane opened up kind of in the same direction as where Woody's check down was, and as I pushed up in the pocket, he ended up making a big time block, and I was able to find a way in the end zone.
I think coming out of halftime or throughout the game, you guys ended up rotating the right guard. Juice Scruggs got in and made a little shift there. Did that decision or adjustment kind of help you guys throughout the game? Because after that, it seemed like the offensive line played a lot cleaner, a lot smoother, and you were able to get rhythm and finish drives off of this.
I mean, I think our offensive line did a great job the whole game. I mean, even when Blake comes in for a lot of the jumbo stuff, we were able to run the football really efficiently today, especially on those last couple drives when the team needed it. We were able to lean on those guys and march down the field.
This is the second largest comeback in franchise history. It's 26-0 differential in the fourth quarter. What was the moment that you started to realize that you guys weren't just putting up points to be able to make this thing close, but it was starting to feel more so we're going to be able to pull this thing out?
I mean, I think the whole team had faith we were going to win that game the entire time. Like I said before, I mean, I think our team is very confident in our own abilities. We have a lot of players who can make plays, and we just needed to get things clicking. And as we went out there, I think we really only had, one possession in the third quarter and went down. We were able to drive the ball pretty well in the fourth quarter. And like I said before, defense kept finding ways to get off the field. Daniil was joking around with me in the locker room. He was like, our defense is good, man. And he was like, keep finding ways to go down and score points on offense, and we're going to keep getting you guys the ball back. So having that in the back of my head and being able to trust the guys around me, especially on the other side of the ball, to go out there and make plays. I mean, it was just a hard-fought win. It was fun.
Talking to the guys in the locker room, they all said, like, nothing surprised them about what they saw from you today because this is who you've been. Talk about, and you may have already talked about it, how you've been able to maintain in the backup role the confidence and just kind of the even keel to get through the ups and downs of today.
I mean, that's what you got to do. I think with my current circumstance, backing up to CJ, I come in with the mentality every day that I'm gonna bring my best self to the facility every morning. I'm gonna push everyone around me to become the best football player they can be, and I'm gonna push myself to become the best football player I can be. I mean, I've had that mentality, kind of cool, calm, and collected at all times. I'm here to work and do my job, and it was fun. I mean, the guys had faith in me that I could go out there and get the job done. But I mean, we've done that every single day when we come to work, continuing to just execute the little things and go out there and find a way to get a win. It was fun.
7 catches, 135 yards. You've been working with him since 2021 when you guys got drafted in the third round together. What does it mean to have a security blanket like Nico Collins that can always go up, make the big time play, and make your job a little bit easier, knowing that he is always going to be at the right place at the right time?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. Nico's a playmaker. I think he's pretty much a mismatch against everyone they put on the other side. I think a lot of defensive starting to get him into a lot of cloud coverage, double coverage over top of him, and they find ways to take him out of the game. But anytime they don't, we're looking to find a way to get him the ball. And I mean, he's grown a lot since 2021 when we were rookies. And I mean, I just wish the best for him and continue to light up the league.
Speaking of rookies, can you just talk about the kind of production you're getting from some of the rookies, especially on offense? Guys that continue to step up, like a Lee Marks or Jaden or Jalen?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of young guys. Ariante, left tackle. I mean, he's played extremely well this whole year, and he keeps getting better every week. I think a lot of our young guys have a great mentality where they're coming to work every week, and they all ask a ton of questions and want to know more about the game of football at the highest level to continue push themselves to get better. But, I mean, yeah, Tay's done a great job. Jalen, Jaden, Woody, I mean, we have a lot of guys contributing who, when a young guy comes in, you never want it to seem like there's a young guy in the football game. They're out here making plays. They know exactly what their jobs is on every play, and I mean, it's fun having them out there in the huddle because they bring some juice.
So, man, that's the end of the press conference for Davis Mills. These rookies are no longer rookies. It's time that the coaching staff lets them loose and go out there and produce on the offensive side of the ball. Jaden Higgins having a touchdown today. I wonder, how much this game does for some of these rookies to go out there and get more snaps and more of an opportunity going forward. Earlier this week, Nick Caley said that the lack of opportunities at times is because how the game goes and how the gameplay is dictating his play calling. And I said, well, as the offensive coordinator, you got to be able to dictate some of that. I understand if you're losing by a lot, you can't run, or that if you're up by a lot, you want to run instead of pass and get Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, Nico Collins the ball. But that hasn't been the case with the Texans. There's been plenty of passing opportunities for them throughout the season. You got to make sure that you're dialing up the play calls that get Nico Collins open. And that's just simply one-on-one. Anywhere that's one-on-one, Nico Collins is open. That 2-point conversion catch that he had today, getting his feet down, just absolutely awesome. Dalton Schultz is starting to become that guy. And Jalen Noel is just a big play type of guy. He needs to be out there on special teams, especially. And I don't know how many snaps. Snap count obviously isn't out yet, but how many snaps did nothing? Yeah, just Nico Collins had 15 targets. Dalton Schultz 11 targets. Like those are the numbers you want to see for Nico Collins. 7 catches, 136 yards. Jaden Higgins 7 targets. Jalen Noel 4 targets. But a 35 yards, 27-yard big play by Jalen Noel, and of course the touchdown by Jaden Higgins. But the targets of 15 and 11, Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz, that's what you want to see. Nothing against Christian Kirk. I think we've seen what he can do. I think we're good there. So let's make sure that the reps and the targets go to Higgins and Noel instead of Christian Kirk at this point. That doesn't mean that Kirk isn't going to be a contributor eventually for this team, but let's not force it to him. The defensive side of the ball, they have had multiple opportunities this season as the best defense in the NFL to win games, and they have failed to do so against the Buccaneers, and they failed to do so against the Broncos. Today, they were able to accomplish that. They were able to get a stop against the Jaguars when it mattered most, not because they had allowed 87 yards in the first half. That's what makes them a great defense. That's what makes them great statistically, a great defense, the best scoring defense and yards allowed defense in the NFL. But you can have all that, but if you can't get a stop when you have the lead late in the fourth quarter, what is all of that worth? Like, no matter what the offense has done or not done throughout this season or throughout the game, and you're exhausted, I get it. And that's the built-in excuse, and I've used it for them, frankly, a couple times. No matter what, if you want to be the best defense in the NFL, and you want to be the bell cow to this team, and you want to be the identity to this team, you got to go out there and you got to secure the win when it is out there to be secured, no matter how tired, no matter what the time of possession is, no matter what's happened in the first 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters of the game. When it is the final possession, you need to go out there and win. And they did that today. They got a little bit of help on some penalties against the Jaguars. It doesn't matter. You make no apologies for that. They did their job today, and it was great to see them be able to secure that. And as you could probably imagine, Will Anderson, who is always all smiles, was all smiles again in the locker room today.
What can you say about what the defense did to be able to shut them down again and again in the fourth quarter to allow the offense to get the ball back and continue to score?
Yeah, I just think it's all of us being on the same page, but obviously, I think we talk about as a team what everybody did to pull this game off. I feel like on all phases of the game, some things didn't go the way we wanted it, but we stayed resilient, we stayed persevering. Everybody kept doing their job to the best of their ability, and I really feel like everybody showed it was their best version of themselves today, and that's how we got the outcome we got.
Hey, by the way, subscribe to Kickin with Kunkel on YouTube and go watch on YouTube. Like the video, please, if you haven't already.
Key to being able to stay positive and stay up when you're down by 19 entering the fourth quarter.
Man, we talk about this every single week. What's next? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the next mentality? And when something don't go right, how are we going? And I think Coach did a really good job the night before. It's like, man, something gonna happen in this game. Well, what's our attitude going towards the next play? How can we lift each other up? And as we've been having leadership meetings, like, how can we sustain when something doesn't go right, keeping everybody's energy right? And I think it's just a testament to the leadership group. First, D'Amico, just of how he's running the program, man, and just instilling in us, man, like, keep having that same mentality, keep showing up, keep fighting, and never quit. He showed an awesome video of a boxer dislocated his shoulder and end up in the 6th round knocking his opponent out with one hand, man. I really think it touched all of us last night.
What's going through your mind as Rank is rumbling down the field?
Bro, I was just telling him, I was like, bro, I was so excited. I said, bro, I said, I missed you before, but I said, you really my dog because I know you was so tired. But we got this little celebration that we doing this like this. And I said, bro, I know you was tired, but you still did it. But I'm so happy for him, man. He puts in the work every day. And this is just a testament to who he is as a person and a player.
Well, big picture, you talked about you needed this win.
Yeah.
And you did. You're going to win. You're 3-6. You're 4-5. You're kind of in the thick of things.
Yeah.
How do you feel like the significance of the game?
Yeah, we really needed that win, man. And I think as a team, you can just see the camaraderie. You can see how everybody really wanted this win as well. You can see how we kept fighting all quarters for however long it took. Nobody got discouraged. Everybody kept fighting. And I just think that shows the type of team we have.
The offense is.
Man, I just seen a lion. I seen a lion on the hunt all day, man. The way he led his troops, man, down the field, up and down the field, man. He's a star, and I'm happy to have him. He's a blessing to this team. You know, whenever your number is called, his number was called, and he delivered for us, man, and it's really big for him and his team.
The offense has taken a lot of heat this year for lack of production. Just to
Yeah.
see. First of all, Davis Mills, you cannot overstate having a capable backup quarterback. There are teams that can't find a starting quarterback, let alone when their starter goes down, which inevitably it happens, and every team turns to their backup. Having Davis Mills, despite how it started today, especially the way it started today, frankly, and then the way it ended, it's invaluable. You cannot put a price on that. Someone made a funny comment in the chat, like he's resetting the market for backup quarterbacks. I mean, it kind of is. Like, kind of it's happening. The more that these quarterbacks get hurt and injured, the more you need backups. Davis Mills becomes that much more valuable.
Them have success in a win today.
Well, by the way, great answer here by Will Anderson. You know, making this all about the team, not about offense versus defense. I wasn't trying to get him to separate the two, but nonetheless, good job by him. And you can hear my question again.
And he delivered for us, man, and it's really big for him and his team.
The offense has taken a lot of heat this year for lack of production. Just to see them have success in a win today, how good does that just frankly make you feel to see?
Man, I feel like they've been good all year. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all in this together. There's no one side this, one side that, man. Those guys have been doing a really good job on offense, man, sustaining drives, getting in the end zone, doing all that. And it's just how much consistent can we be on all phases of the game. And that's going into next week, and I'm excited to keep rolling with those guys.
What did you see on that final play of the game?
Yeah.
That allowed you to make that game-sealing play. And also, a few weeks ago, you talked about having the keys to victory. Like, what were your keys to victory for this particular game?
Yeah, man, it was just everybody just being relentless. Everybody just dominated for 4 quarters, and just, you know, like I said, sustaining drives, man. And we always say, like, it's on the D-line to close out games, especially when we get in those 2-minute situations like that. And I think we actually had an opportunity to do that today, man. We got to keep this thing rolling, but obviously, as a defense, we all closed it out. So it's a great feeling to have this W. It's a great feeling to walk into this locker room, everybody smiling, everybody cheering, man. And that's just shows the type of team that we have, a team full of heart.
Will, how much did Derek Stingley's interception at the end of the half?
Big. That's what playmakers do. He's a playmaker. He does that on the normal, and that's why he's here. That's why he's in the league. That's why he's the best to do it. And man, he gave us a spark when we needed it the most. He delivered for us, and he got us back on track for sure.
Did you see the thoughts on Daniil's day? Daniil's day?
Bro, see, the thing that Daniil does to me, like when I watch him, because I watch his tape very closely, like this is every game for me. Like obviously, like him getting the sacks, but I'm like, bro, he can beat any tackle out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, it's not a guy that can handle you. It's not a guy that can block you. And to play alongside of somebody like Daniil is such a blessing, man. I'm so happy for him, dog. We fed off his energy. He led us today in a big way. He got us going whenever we spark. Everybody would start freaking out. Daniil's like, man, we good. But that's, I think, what makes him a great player, because through all the fire, he remains calm, he remains himself, and he knows his ability, and it just rubs off on everybody else.
Well, it's crazy to watch a comeback like that. What's it like to be a part of such an epic comeback?
Yeah, I've never been a part. Well, I've been with something like that, but not so similar. But, man, I think it's just a testament to the guys in this locker room and the coaching staff that we have, man. And I think this is what we've been talking about, is everybody be on the same page, everybody having the same mindset, mentality, nobody giving in, nobody giving up, just a room full of dogs, and I feel like that's what we have as a team.
You guys have struggled a couple times to close out games and opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, to get it today, how much does that mean to y'all?
Yeah, it was really big for us, man. I think this is where we have been at. We've been so close to, like, either winning games, either, like, all that type of stuff. So to finally do that today felt really great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, just absolutely huge for this defense to be able. It's not a must-win game, but an extremely important game for this Texans team to win, especially because now you have a real chance to get back to 500. You go to Nashville on Sunday to take on the Titans, an obviously very winnable game. And then after that, The Bills got their butts kicked today by the Dolphins. So the Bills are beatable. Yeah, they beat the Chiefs, and they look good when they play up to they play down to their competition. It seems like, some teams, when they're in the playoffs so often, it's like they just want to get to the playoffs. Just give me the damn playoffs. And they lose focus sometimes from game to game against lesser opponents in the NFL. But Mike McDaniel doing his thing for the Dolphins, kind of trying to fight for his job. But back to the defense. This defense, and I talked about this in after the Ravens win. I was saying this is how the Texans defense wants to play games, with a lead. Because when the Texans defense has a lead and they know you have to pass it, and Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter are coming at you off the edge, like, that's what's up. That's when the guys are going to get interceptions on the back end. But I didn't know it was going to be Sheldon Rankins. I think they ruled that a fumble, but I don't know why it was a fumble versus an interception, because the ball didn't hit the ground. But nonetheless, I didn't see it too quickly or what the discernment it was on that. But this is when the Texans are at their best. Unfortunately, they don't have a great offense, so they're not playing with the lead often. They came out extremely slow today. So to get the win and have the offense not only contribute, but be a big part of the reason you win is absolutely massive for this team. But look at this drive chart for the Texans defense against the Jaguars. So obviously not the good start, right? Like 7 plays and a field goal, 5 plays and a touchdown, and then you do get a punt. And then the end of the first half, you have a field goal and then that interception by Derek Stingley. By the way, that interception by Derek Stingley. What are we talking about? That is an unbelievable play. And he posted a crazy video to his Instagram last night about the Joker and being doubted and this and that. And I hear y'all talking about me. It was kind of an AI or a whatever ad lib, something. It wasn't him talking. But nonetheless, he posted that, then goes out, makes that play, and has himself a nice game. And then coming out in the second half, the Texans only had 1 offensive possession. The Jaguars had 2, and they got 10 points out of it. But this is where, on the offensive side of the ball, the Texans had touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Look at what the Jaguars did offensively against the Texans defense. 3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt. There's nothing better than that than fourth quarter football. When your defense does what you see in that bottom gray box, punt, fumble, and then your offense goes touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. That is the recipe for an epic comeback. A 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter. The second largest comeback in franchise history for the Texans today. That's what I'm talking about. Talk about, finally we get to go in a locker room, by the way, where everybody wants to talk. Everybody expands on their answers a little bit more. They look at you. The eyes are open. They're smiling. They have great energy in all their answers. Like, finally, we got to do that. It's been so many sad, like, here we go again, annoyed with the same old questions on us as if it's our fault. We don't dictate the story. Y'all do. So today was awesome with that regard. Let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. Here's Kamari Lassiter. All he wanted to do was pay homage to the offense.
Man, it feels great. Shout out to the offense. Shout out to Davis Mills. Shout out to the offense. Again, they put up 36 points. We gave up 30 or 29. So shout out to the offense another time.
Just emotionally, just to see the offense have success and get a win and put up the points that they did. How good is that to feel and see?
Once again, shout out to Nico Collins, shout out to the O-line, shout out to Woody, shout out to Jay Noel, Jay Heed, the entire offense. Make sure I just want to give everybody credit because they went out there, they played amazing. Man, they got the job done. They helped us a lot, man. Shout out to them.
Kamari, you want to talk about the sportsmanlike conduct. What exactly transpired that the referee felt like
this was a bad penalty. Bad arrest. I don't understand.
Yes, sir. I go out there and play with a lot of passion. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, referee made a call. I have to respect it. I don't feel like I was doing anything or said anything that was outlandish. I got up, celebrated, and then if they were talking about me looking down, I was looking down to see if he dropped the ball because they ruled it incomplete. And then I walked off, and if you watch the play, I turned back around because something was being said to me. And I don't know if it was the head contact or anything like that, but if you watch the play, my head got snapped back because somebody was walking up behind me and was talking back to me. And, you know, it just got to be better. I can't do that. I'm just glad it didn't hurt the team, you know.
At some point in the fourth quarter,
Good
you
answer.
guys start to think as the offense was rolling that it's on us to keep getting them off the field.
Yes, sir. I mean, I feel like if you want to be a good defense, you have to always feel like it's on you. It's a problem if they score at all. So, yeah, we just want to, we want to go out there, get offensive ball, get those playmakers the ball, and let them go to work. And they did that today.
A lot of people have spent the year talking about finishing games, and as he said it again, this is what you want, and you were able to, as a defense, to finish it.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's what you dream of as a defense, as a defender. That's what we think of. Like, that's what we like practice for. To finish the game, had the game in our hands, and I mean, they went out. Those guys up front went up, executed. Will got a sack. Big Rain caught the pick, took it back. I mean, it can get much better than that.
What's going through your mind as Rank is rumbling down the field?
I was in between doing my little dancey dance and going down to celebrate with them. I was in shock. I'm like, bro, we just came back and won. We scored 26 straight in the fourth quarter. The only other team to do that was the Broncos. I mean, that's just surreal. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, a lot of people counted us out. I mean, and just to see the resiliency of the offense, those guys coming back. Davis going out there and fighting and leading. O-line playing behind them, running backs running hard, receivers making crazy plays. Oh, and shout out Dalton Schultz too. And it was an amazing game.
The way that the game started out with the penalties, the fumble, and interception. And after that, how did you all know and feel that you?
That's, I think, the most impressive part of this game is the way it started versus the way.
It's never over. I feel like as a defender, as a competitor, as a football player, I was never taught to wave the white flag. So until the clock is 0, I mean, it's always a fighting chance, and I feel like the guys on both sides of the ball feel like that. I mean, we know every game is important, so we knew that we had to go out there and play to the end of it.
Do you feel like it was a pretty creative call in the last play for your defense, the way y'all were lined up, knowing they didn't have any timeouts?
So the call was from Adam Wexler. The questions from Adam Wexler asking about the call that the defense was in. I don't know if you all saw it, but they had 3 or 4 defenders on the left sideline, not like where all the receivers were, not allowing them to get out of bounds, get like 10 yards and out of bounds and stop the clock. So it funneled everybody back to the middle of the field. And obviously the play worked, but it was a cool play design. I mean, I've seen it before, but it was well executed by the guys today.
We practice. I mean, these are situations that we practice, that we go over, and we just went out there and we executed what we practiced.
Right, big picture to get the win, to be 4-5 and stay alive in the wild card hunt. What's the difference? What does it mean to the playoff?
It means a lot. I mean, anytime you can get a win in the NFL, I mean, it's great because winning is hard. Playing against really good teams week in, week out, and it takes every bit of every player to go out there and win. So I mean, it's a great one.
Surprise, obviously, this thing's
Greatest, one of the greatest players I ever played with. I mean, 1-on-1, go out there, dive, undercut the route, one hand snag it. I didn't get to see it because I was covering on the other side, but once I saw the replay, I'm like, bro, you got to chill out, bro. You got to chill out.
Kamara, you last week you said that it's on the
That's the end
defense.
of the part. The question. I think it's already been answered, but I think that's the most impressive part of what the Texans did today. They have not had a very good season. They got off to a very bad start against a team they played really poorly against in Jacksonville last time and lost, and stuck with it. And credit the defense for keeping the team in there to where you're only down by 10 points at halftime. It felt like you were down by 1,000,000, but the defense only allowed 87 yards in the first half, and the league got cut to 10 right before halftime. So you were in it. Like, you were right there. You were knocking on the door, and the defense was dominating. The defense was great down in Jacksonville too, but the offense was abysmal in Jacksonville. That was the difference, that the team hung around long enough for the offense to figure it out. And I don't think you can say enough to D'Amico Ryans, Nick Caley, Frank Ross, Matt Burke, all of the coaching staff and the leaders on the team to just keep your head in the game versus here we go again. Because that's definitely the feeling across the board amongst fans and media and everybody else. A lot of people that are involved in this game, because it was more same old, same old. And it when it rained, it poured in the first quarter the way they started that game. Again, it was an interception, fumbles, punt returns for a touchdown, 15-yard penalties. And it was bad. And it was one of those snowballing feelings where it was getting out of control quickly. Something to take note of, that the Jaguars front office was in the press box clapping, celebrating, making a ruckus. And it was like a purposeful clap when they were winning in the first half. Like, it was aggressive. There was clearly some animosity towards the Texans, their fans, the franchise, and they wanted to be heard, and they were heard in the first half. They left that press box very quiet. I didn't hear anything from those guys leaving the press box. I just thought that was very interesting, and stuff like that stands out so much because you're not allowed to cheer in the press box. Now, it's media who's not allowed to cheer. If people that work for the teams are in the press box, and there have been over the years in several press boxes, they're allowed. I think they're allowed to cheer. I don't think they're not allowed to. It just stands out. You're like, yo, who was that? Because some media members have done it before. There was one guy, not a media member, I don't believe, that was sitting down from us. Was it? Yeah, it was the 49ers. It was when George Kittle had the touchdown. This dude yelled celebration and clapped in the press box. Like, it was out of pocket. It's like in the library. You're not supposed to make sound. You're not allowed to. It was like in a library, someone just let out a yell. And it was crazy. And they proceeded to get their tail whipped. So just kind of an interesting story on the Texans, or on the Jaguars front office, creating a scene and then, leaving with their tail between their legs. Let's go back to the offense now. Or do you guys want to stay on defense? Let's Danielle Hunter's quick. This dude was an absolute beast today. 3.5 sacks, 7 tackles, did absolutely everything. 4 QB hits, 3 tackles for loss, something like that. I have it actually on my TikTok. Go find me on TikTok. By the way, if your eyes are watching or just joining the stream on Kickin with Kunkel, I appreciate y'all. Huge win for the Texans today. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Make sure you like the video. Help a brother out with the algorithm. Comment as well and get involved with the super chat. Here's Danielle Hunter afterwards.
God, man, you guys had so many options this season to close games out and weren't able to do so. So for you guys to be able to do it today, how much does that mean for y'all?
It means a lot, man. We had different situations where we had to sit back, watch film, and learn from it. And today was a perfect example of how we needed to finish the game. So we did a good job, and shout out to the secondary, and shout out to the linebackers for doing their job and enabling us to get to the quarterback.
You got a guy that sits two lockers down from you in Davis Mills. How did you see him prepare for this week, and how did you feel going into the game, knowing that you all still had a chance to win this thing?
And I knew he was ready, man. The way he was practicing all week, focused, came in, he took charge of every breakdown of the week, breaking the huddles and all that, and then he went out there and he capitalized on his opportunity.
How much does this game mean to you guys? I know you guys go one game by one game, I get that, but to get this win in this stretch, how important is it?
It means a lot. Yeah, this game is very important. Division game, against one of our rivals. So it was good to come out with the win.
Thanks, brother.
Danielle even was good today. He doesn't usually say a whole bunch, quick, concise, and to the point typically. Had a little bit more motivation and fun in some of his answers today. Aziz Al-Shaair always expands on answers, and I believe this is the last defensive guy, and then we're going to switch over to the offense.
Man, I got 2 in the back. I got the player in the offense right here. We got the game ball, and then I got defensive player who got the game ball. So, hopefully I can get some luck that rubs off both of them. I can get the next one. I'm saying they both did a great job. Davis, obviously coming in as a backup, you don't get a lot of reps, you don't get a lot of looks, and so he had the whole week to prepare for it. And he's done what he's done from training camp, just showing up and just keep chipping away. And same thing with the defense. I think just rushing together, D Hunt is an elite pass rusher. 100+ sacks, one of however many guys who's ever done that in the league, and he just put that on display, and all of us was working together, rushing coverage.
You always tell me each game's the same, but you guys, if you hadn't won this game, it's a pretty deep hole. How pivotal is it for what it does for your season, big picture?
It is the same. It's 1-0 every week. And obviously, when it's a division game, it weighs more just for seedings and things down the road. But yeah, when you pull out a win like this, you start off as bad as you can start off, turnover on special teams, turnover on offense, and they get 10 points up early. D'Amico, he showed us a video last night, and it was, about a heavyweight fight, and the guy whose shoulder dislocated, and he's fighting with one arm in the 6th round, and he just told us, like, whatever happens, no matter what, just keep fighting. And so you just see this guy, I don't even remember the guy's name, but it was an old fight, and he just shows the guy knock this dude out with one arm while his other arm's dislocated. And, the message for us was just keep swinging. So all day, that's just what we kept thinking about. I'm like, bro, like, yeah, our shoulder was dislocated early. First quarter, come out the gate, they come up 10-0 and feeling good about themselves. I think it was 17-0 at one point or whatever. You're feeling good about yourself, and rightfully so. You made plays, but you got to finish the game.
How does it feel to end?
Puncher's chance, then?
You said what?
Texas still have a puncher's chance.
You just keep fighting. I don't know about nothing. You just keep fighting.
You guys have had chances before to seal games as this defense, and today to get it done the way you did, how good does that feel for you guys?
Yeah, it feels great because, when we were in the meeting to start the week, Meek challenged the defense, and that's what he said. He's like,
It's interesting. So I asked that question to a lot of the defensive guys, if not all of them that I talked to, as you could tell. And so often it's portrayed like the media is creating this narrative, and we don't know what the hell we're talking about. And then we ask them about these narratives and the ability to close out a game, and all of them say, Meek talked about that. We talk about it all the time, that we got to be the ones that close the game. We watched a movie in order to inspire us to be able to close out a game, no matter what happens. So we're all pretty much on the same page. Even the fans are on the same page with the ineptitude of the offense, and the players and the coach. The coaches say they got to execute better and that they don't close out games, even though they're an elite defense. And then D'Amico says we're not positive enough, but in reality, behind closed doors, D'Amico knows the offense is struggling. He's showing motivational movies in order to get the point across that no matter what happens, we have to keep fighting, and we have to be the ones that we want to close down this game when we have the lead. So, we're all on the same page here.
Say we're yards, points, all this stuff, but like
also
games where
D'Amico said, I believe it was D'Amico. I believe it was D'Amico, or it was Matt Burke. I believe it was D'Amico that he was told that they had the best scoring defense and the best yardage defense in the NFL. And he was like, oh, do we? I didn't even know that. Well, as he says here that we talk about being the best defense in scoring, and yet we can't close out a game, blah, blah, blah. So, again, it's more of those, we don't listen to what you say, but you're being too negative. So it's like, well, if you're not listening to what we say and you think we're being too negative, then how would you know?
Chances before to seal games as this defense, and today to get it done the way you did, how good does that feel for you guys?
Yeah, it feels great because, when we were in the meeting to start the week, Meek challenged the defense, and that's what he said. He's like, we say we're number one defense in yards, points, all this stuff, but like, there's been multiple games where we've had the last chance, like we've had the last play, and the other team scored points to win the game. Whether it was Denver, whether it was Tampa Bay early in the year, and it's like, if we're the best, then close it up. So as soon as offense scored, I didn't care if they got the 2-point conversion or not. I knew we were going to be up by 1 point or 3 points, and either way it went. Like, we all looked at each other on defense like, this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what we asked for. So let's go show him.
See a little bit more on Davis, man. What did you just think of what he did for his team today?
Just doing what he's always done, man. Like, just showed up, prepared. He doesn't really say much. Me and him joke around.
That's the end of the Aziz, because I saw Daniil. Daniil was free, so I walked over to Daniil before the whole scrum and everybody else got over there. Something I kind of thought of a little bit during this the week, and then a little bit more today, based on how the offensive line was structured through the season, and then even more today, that it really doesn't feel like they know what they're doing with the offensive line, and it feels like there's a lot of struggles from the roster building side with Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans. They have not done a good job on the offensive line. That's indisputable. We know that. So do you guys think, and I put this on X, and a lot of people fired back with a hell no, that Nick Caley does not deserve any grace. But I wonder if there's some grace at least built in to his evaluation, or if his evaluation will be on a little bit of a curve, because the offensive line has been bad, and the offensive line hasn't been able to do what D'Amico Ryans wants, which is to be a physical downhill running team. And you saw what happened last week against the Broncos. The Texans ran 4 plays right up the gut and were unable to move a body 3 feet. They weren't able to get the job done. And it was like, this is what D'Amico wants. This is what D'Amico gets. That's what it felt like. And then today, they ran the play off the edge to Woody Marks in order to get their first touchdown inside the 3-yard line. The last team in the NFL to achieve the illustrious goal this season. So I just wonder if there's some grace being built into Nick Caley's evaluation and when it comes to next season. There's still a whole lot of football to go this season. He is by no means dead man walking, I don't think. I know Lance Zierlein of 97.5, 92.5 ESPN radio here in town, where I fill in quite a bit and do the Swarmcast with Joe George. I know he thinks that he's a dead man walking. I haven't stamped that yet because I think he's been very bad this season. I don't think he's been good. I don't think he has a lot to work with on the offensive line. I think that his best playmakers haven't been put in position by him in order to have success, and that's his fault. I think I've given him like a D or a C- when we gave grades. I think it was a D, or even a failure. Like I think maybe even failure at points. Well, definitely failure at points, but I can't remember what grade I gave him. It was either a D or a fail, but he certainly passed today. But I just wonder how much grace is built into the fact that the offensive line is not good. And then I also wonder if you keep Nick Caley, if Mike McDaniel's able to keep his job in Miami, because that's the one guy to really, really hone in on, because his mind for offense is obviously there. The issues that he has in Miami are alleviated if he's not the head coach and is just the offensive coordinator, when he's not able to have player accountability and be that, quote, leader of men that you want your head coach to be. So they won today against Buffalo. So Mike McDaniel, again, just swinging and keeping his job alive down there for the Dolphins after they've already fired their general manager. So I'm just curious what y'all think about that. So chime in, let me know, hit up the super chat, and we'll get your shout out there. That's all, just kind of a thought that I had. Because what you want from Nick Caley, he has not been good. This is not excuse building for Nick Caley at all. He hasn't been good. He also doesn't have a whole lot to work with on the offensive line. But also, as bad as he's been, and it's late in the season to not have an identity, but it's also the middle point of the season to where there's a lot of football left, and you hope Nick Caley can figure it out. No matter what happens with this season, whether you win enough games to get in the playoffs or make any sort of noise, if you are able to get in the playoffs as a wild card somehow, then you want Nick Caley to at least use the rest of the season to learn, to grow, and be your offensive coordinator next year. Like, don't write off Nick Caley just because you're pissed off at him because of how the first half of the season has gone. He's failed. He has not been good. He's had moments where you're like, hell yeah, but then you see it's the Ravens, you see it's the Titans, you see it's a banged-up 49ers defense. But then what he did today, I think today might have been one of his best showings of the season. Yeah, it's a beat-up defense by the Jaguars, but everyone's beat up at this point, and you didn't have two starting offensive linemen in Titus Howard and Ingram, and you didn't have your quarterback in C.J. Stroud. So he had plenty working against him, and yet he was able to overcome. And he got the ball to Nico Collins. So, yeah, that's good. I'm curious what y'all think. Does he deserve a little bit of grace, or do you think he'll get that grace? Here's the interview I had with Trent Brown, who made a start for the first time this season, despite being inactive for all of the year. And now he comes in and played a pretty good game. He did certainly have moments where he got toasted on the outside, though. And it was actually, he got toasted on that sack. It was off the edge. Davis Mills got hit and driven in the ground. I don't care. It was Travion. What's his last? I can't remember. Travion Walker. He was drafted first overall instead of Hayden Hutchinson by the Jaguars. But anyway, he got toasted on this play, and it was a penalty, so it didn't count. But here he is.
What's it like for you to be, an observer from the outside, this being your first game? You get to affect change. What have you noticed, like in this game alone, how maybe this galvanized the squad going forward?
I think me having the comfortability playing in this system and winning in this system with far less talent than we have in this locker room, it's promising for me. I think it's just little pieces here and there, but we got to tune in, attention to detail, and lock in and just finish. It's grit. You know what I mean? Like that last drive, I think we were down. I don't know how many plays that last drive was, but to take it 95 or however many yards, and I think that's the identity that we want to have up front and just as an offense. You know what I mean?
Trent, is this the type of performance that you mentioned about locking in that can get you guys to lock in and go on a little bit of a run here?
I believe so. I mean, if we do that week in, week out, like me as a spectator before now, I didn't week in, week out. There's no game where a team has just beat us. We've beaten ourselves, and even in the first half, we were beating ourselves. So to see us come back in the second half and go 26 on the 26-0 run, credit to the defense and credit to the offense to play complementary football and come back for a major win, divisional win.
Physically, how did you feel? It's been a while since you played that much football. Were you feeling good about your stamina, about your leg?
I feel pretty good. I feel good, great actually. I surprised myself. You just never can tell. And with that being my first game, coming in mid-season, guys are already in mid-season form, and I'm coming in fresh. Hadn't played a down in over a year. It was nice for me to see that the work I've been putting in hadn't gone in vain, and I'm right where I should be.
What were the conversations like amongst you guys going into this game, knowing guys were out, you guys were going in, like there was a whole bunch of new people? Like, what were those conversations like?
It wasn't really many conversations, man. It's football at the end of the day. Next man up mentality, and credit to Coach Popovich for having us ready.
What do you think allowed you to have your success in your first game this year to go in there, step in and help?
I think me being an 11-year veteran, familiarity with the offense, and just the will to want to go in there and have a good showing. Honestly, I could not go in there and let them down. They gave me an opportunity to come in and play, and I had to take advantage of it.
Trent, you're in the huddle with Davis, and you've been in the huddle with a lot of quarterbacks. Dalton was saying he's almost too calm. Like, come on, what did you see from him, the poise? And obviously he's a quiet guy, but
I mean,
what
his poise sometimes. Davis I talk to Davis almost every day, just joking around and whatnot. But Davis is a super quiet, poised guy. Sometimes you got to just tell him to speak up a little bit. But other than that, man, like he stepped up in a major way. Kudos to him.
The touchdown run, have you seen it?
His? Yeah.
What you think?
I got to block better.
He scored.
Yeah, he scored. But I won't say but. He scored.
Money Mills?
Money Mills.
And how good does it feel to be able to contribute as an offense to a win the way you guys did?
It feels great. I hope that helps us discover a bit of an identity here and belief in the system and what we're trying to do and what the offense is, what we're trying to do offensively.
Catch that? Thanks.
See, it's another point. It's another point where we keep asking what the identity is, and we're being told we're too negative and we don't know what we're talking about, et cetera, et cetera. And then Trent Brown goes out and says something like, hopefully this helps us figure out our identity. We know what we are talking about. Y'all watch enough football to know ball. We know ball. We've covered enough football that the media, for the most part, knows what they're talking about here in Houston. There's a good group of people that cover the Texans. No one's out to get the Texans. They don't have an offensive identity. Today, they were able to do so. They were able to run the ball well and even pass the ball well. They did everything well today. Celebrate that. But that's just like one of those extra things you're like, I knew it. I knew y'all were trying to figure out your identity. Let's get to some comments right now because before I do that, DeRhino with another super chat. Dude's the man. DeRhino, your tequila is en route, by the way, and I got a cool-ass gift basket I'm going to send you from Socorro as well that I got. I'm going to hook you up with some extra stuff because you're the man. I asked Trent Brown just kind of the emotions. I asked Dalton Schultz this as well, and he admitted it's important that just like how does it feel that you guys win a game and you helped and you contributed? Like that's no small task for this offense because they've had some decent games from time to time and they've won games, but they haven't contributed. Like it matters to go out there after weeks of work, months of work, training camp, and go out there and like everything you've tried to do and everything you're working towards, you go out there and you actually put it together, and it's a win. It's not for naught. Like, you're allowed to talk to the media and you're allowed to celebrate with each other because not only did you guys get the win, but you guys contributed. You did your job and you did your part. It sucks even worse for the defense when they do their part so often, so well, and can't even be happy, can't celebrate because they're losing. Now they get to celebrate because the defense was awesome, and now the offense gets to be part of that as well. No one really shucked it up today. Special teams was not very good, but that's another point. The offense and defense both played good games today. They get to enjoy their own success, the fruits of their labor, and enjoy the win as well. So love that. How about my man Durino getting involved? It just feels good to be on the right side of here we go again game. Man, I wonder how the Jaguars are feeling because they blew that game. I wonder if it was a here we go again game for them. It was definitely a here we go again game for the Texans at several points. And I think that's the biggest thing to point out is that there were several points where the Texans were like, here we go again. Starting the game with an interception, then the fumble on the punt return, then the touchdown on the punt return on the other side of the ball. Like all of that, the penalties, and then and then you get in the red zone and you have issues punching it in, but then you finally punch it in. So you see some success. And then Trevor Lawrence scrambling. When Trevor Lawrence broke free for 21 yards, I was like, oh my gosh, this crap's going to happen again. There's no way that the defense plays this well. The offense actually contributes, puts you in a position to win the game, and you allow Trevor Lawrence to scramble to get you in position. Because, by the way, I tweeted it. I had to delete it because there was a penalty. The Jaguars were in field goal position. Don't forget that Cam Little hit a 68-yard field goal last week. I believe it was outside. I think it was in Jacksonville. 68-yarder. So they were in field goal position at one point. But then there was the penalty that took them out. So, like, some of the stuff started swinging the Texans' way. And you create your own bounces. You create your own luck in sports. I don't believe that luck exists in and of itself. I do believe you create your own luck, though. And the Texans started to get some of those calls late. They were getting calls against them throughout the game that I thought were some were BS. There were some BS calls against the Jaguars, too. I think overall the officiating did not do a very good job. So, like, just huge for the Texans to win a game mentally to get over that hump. And I asked Dalton Schultz this question. You're going to hear his answer here in a second. But it's one thing to get over the hump at the end and like, yes, the fruits of our labor, blah, blah, blah. But it's another thing to stop the ship going this way, like sinking, and bail the water out and then get the ship back above the water. Like, that's a whole lot harder to do than starting at 0-0 and just getting this thing going from the start and you're going forward. The Texans started taking on water right away. So they had to bail out the water. They had to get the ship above sea level and then get the ship going again. That's what happened. That's way harder than actually getting things going, even though it felt like getting things going for the Texans was hard in general just because the offense was that bad. But they shot themselves in the foot, then had to run a race. That's what they did today, and they did it successfully, and they won. That's wildly impressive.
What? What can you say about Davis?
Dude, he had a great week of prep. Put it on display, man. Like, he comes in, like, we know we have a good, great backup quarterback. Like, there's a reason that he's stuck around here for a while, and yeah, he showed that today.
Can you take us through that touchdown catch that you had, that tap dance when you had the back of the end zone?
Yeah, dude, I got pushed by the end, so I hit the end coming out, so I was already, like, behind it. Yeah, I was able to just fight through on that corner route. Davis saw it the same way I did and just put it up there on one-on-one. I was able to just go make a play.
That's something you practice throughout the week?
Like the route?
The catch.
Here come the bandwagoners. All right, Chrissy.
You just go make the play.
We've talked a lot of winning the game like this. Is this something that can propel you guys to go on a run?
For sure. Dude, we needed we needed this type of energy after the game. It's been a long time since we felt the juice in a win like that. So I think, being able to come out on that side of the one-score game was huge for us.
So what does it take just to stay engaged and stay believing to pull something like this off?
Dude, it just takes focus, and it takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of resilience. People think that I feel like people think we're crazy for thinking that we're the outfit that we are, but like we really believe in it. And I feel like when it got down to nut cutting time in the fourth quarter, we go on an 18-play drive, and a lot of it was just running the ball, simple run plays down their throat. That's what it's about. That's what we built our team with.
Did you notice any difference in Nick Caley and his play calling today and the success that you guys were able to have?
No, dude, the execution was just better. And it was hard because, dude, we shot ourselves in the foot again so much early. Like, I don't know how many plays we had in the first half, but it wasn't much. And so, like, when we were able to finally get down and feel like we were able to sustain drives and just to keep pressing forward, especially in the fourth, like, that's huge for us.
You're deep.
At what point did you feel like it kind of turned and you feel like, hey, we really can pull this off?
I mean, dude, you never lose that belief. But you talk about momentum in games, and I feel like when we were able to get that first score and get that first 2-point conversion and cut it to a 2-possession game, like, that's when, at least on the sideline, that's when I felt, a little bit more energy, a little bit more juice. Guys started to be like, all right, dude, like, listen, this is very doable for us. 12 minutes left, like, 2-possession game. And so I feel like, when you're able to kind of have that spark, have that little play, that one moment, and then capitalize on it, because that's the next thing. You got to be able to execute after that. That's when things like this happen.
You talked about
to that point. Nice freeze. To that point that Dalton's talking about there, it's one thing to have like a big play, but it's another thing to be able to follow it up. You've got to be able to string plays together and drives together in order to win this league. Like, it's a long game. Like, look at what happened to the Jaguars. They weren't able to finish, and the Texans were able to complete this 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter. You've got to be able to string it together. And that's what now the Texans have to do. The Texans now have to go to Tennessee and win there, because this win doesn't mean anything if they go to Tennessee and lose next week. That gets them back to 500. Nick Caley called himself a good game. Can he do it again? Can he call another game in a row? Can he call 2 good games in a row? Because the best, like, all the players in the NBA can drop 30 points on a given night, but the best ones drop 20 points every single night. Those are your best guys, the guys that are consistently good over a long period of time. So Dalton Schultz talking about that, like, yeah, that when we had the touchdown, the 2-point conversion, that was a moment. But then we went out and executed again. I think that's such a good point by Dalton, because, yes, that's a big play. But if you go out there and the defense gives up a touchdown, or you go out there, you score your touchdown, the defense gets a 3-and-out, and then you go out and turn it over, like, it's all for naught. And then all the momentum goes the other way, back to the Jaguars. So for them to be able to stack drives and stack successes and scores, especially in the fourth quarter, back-to-back touchdowns, that's what was so important. And that was so big.
Juice you had. And like, yeah, but also, like, it was tough to start. You talked about all the good juice you had. And like, yeah, but also, like, it was tough to start. How did you get over to find that juice and, like, have some success?
Dude, we talk about it all the time, dude. Like, it's the one-play spark, and it's the willingness to, like Daniil said at the end, like, just keep chopping wood. Like, keep doing what you're supposed to do. Keep doing things the right way. Keep straining. Keep focusing on just the fundamentals. Like, it sounds so ridiculous because, I mean, I hate hearing it sometimes too, but, like, really, that's what it's about. Like, it's the fundamentals of the game. Are you able to execute the fundamentals better than anybody else in the fourth quarter when it matters the most? Now we're able to do that too.
You ever been part of a comeback like this?
Don't call it a comeback.
What can you say about your defense, holding them to 87 yards in the first half and then sealing the game to win?
Dude, those guys, like, I've been saying it all year, like, you just give them a lead. You give them permission to just pin the ears back and rush. Like, our defense is one of the best in the league, especially in that situation. When you tell the big guys up front just to tee off and go rush the quarterback, like, we've been there in training camp. Like, that is not a fun situation to be in. You know what I mean? So just putting them in more situations like that, that's what we need to strive for.
Dalton, what are you seeing from Davis, like his demeanor kind of throughout the game, throughout this kind of part?
Dude, he's cool, calm, collected. Like, he's not. He's similar to me, which is fun because, like, I'll ride the wave. He doesn't either. Like, he's very, dude, we had to tell him a couple times, like, speak up, because he's like almost too calm. Like, dude, like, we need to hear the play call, dude. But yeah, dude, he was awesome.
You've talked a lot about and kind of vulnerable with the fact that you guys have been frustrated with the lack of success on offense. Like, how good does it feel, just emotionally, like as a human, just have success and go out and win this, like, offensively?
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Like, you need these types of wins, like you do, especially, you know, at this point in the season, we're fighting just to get back to break even. This one, I feel like it meant a lot, because it was almost we saw the fruits of the labor a little bit. We saw it pay off finally. And so I think going forward, you try to take that, learn from that. Obviously, it's much better to learn from a win than a loss. So excited to kind of get in the film room on this one and move on.
Man, you feel good for the offensive guys, because we don't get to talk to them a lot this season about successes after wins and playing well, because the narrative has been that they've dragged this Texans team down to a losing record because the defense has been so good, but the offense hasn't even been close to good enough. So tonight, they were good enough, and they were better than good enough. They put up, 36 points as a team. They put up 29 points as an offense, and that's awesome. Like, it's well-earned. It's well-deserved. So now, if you get C.J. Stroud back, Titus Howard, and Ed Ingram, I'm not sure exactly what all their statuses are, but I believe Titus Howard was on the sideline tonight. So that's huge for them to hopefully get him back, the fact that he was there. Chris, I'm not talking about your stupid Saints, okay? The Saints won today. There you go. They beat the Panthers. The Panthers beat the Packers, and then they lose to the Saints. What the hell? Like, what a wild world that we live in today. Let's take a look at the schedule coming up. So you go to Tennessee. That should get you back to 5-5. Buffalo loses to Miami today. So good thing you're not playing them next week, because if you were, you know they're going to come out all sorts of pissed off after that loss, so you don't have to deal with that sort of anger. They're a beatable team, though. They have played down to their competition. They don't play well week to week. They obviously have the ability to win any game in the NFL. But remember, you gave Josh Allen his worst game of his career last year and dominated him at NRG. You get him back here in Houston again, and then you go to Indianapolis, a huge game. The best team in the NFL right now. Daniel Jones looked not very good, and then came back and looked good in the second half of the game in order for the Colts to get the win in Berlin against the Falcons. And that offense is crazy. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is out of control good, and that offense is fun. The defense, Sauce Gardner got burned a couple times. DeForest Buckner is on the IR, and he's going to miss the next month. So a huge break for the Texans and that offensive line not having to face that pass rusher and DeForest Buckner. But that's going to be a very tough game. Indianapolis in week 13. And then week 14, you go to Kansas City. Kansas City's kind of had an up and down season as well. They're a little bit healthier than they were in the beginning of the season, where they showed a lot of chinks in that armor. But then they go out to Buffalo, play a very good game, albeit lose. A game they lose all the time in the regular season, then they beat them in the playoffs when it matters most. But Kansas City is going to be a very tough game as well. We're starting to get some very tough teams that you're starting to play, because you're playing a first-place schedule. This is the difference in the schedule that the Colts are playing and other teams are playing around the league, that you are playing a first-place schedule. So getting C.J. Stroud back and getting healthy is going to be essential for this team going down the stretch. Jonathan Taylor touchdown, JTT. Yeah, that dude is on my fantasy team, my big money league, and he gave me 52 points. And we get payouts for the high score each week. I think $100 a week is the payout for the highest score. And I have been on track to have the highest score 3 times. I have won it never, because there's one jackass of a team that kills it every week. I am on pace to have the highest score again. I'm on pace to have 207 points. I mashed this week. And this is what we call who cares? Like, no one cares about anyone else's fantasy team. But I had JTT, Jonathan Taylor, touchdown. Trey McBride, 32 points. Jahmyr Gibbs, 42 points. Let's go! Give me that. So that's cool. I got that going for me in my life. All right. Durino, shout out to you for chiming in on the super chat as well. Looking to see if there's any other people that want to get in on the show via the super chat. I will read this one. Official Casper says, I'm still not fully impressed after this game. I'm glad we got the win, but why must we have to fight so hard in the fourth quarter and not play hard all four quarters? Some of the play calls were weird. I don't ever think it's an effort situation with the Texans. I don't think they ever don't play hard. I think sometimes it's a lack of talent, a lack of execution, a mental mistake, lack of discipline, poor play calling, poor game plan. Like, it's a myriad of things. There's a lot of things that go wrong when you lose games the way the Texans do from time to time. Today, they put a lot of it together. It wasn't 4 quarters of great football, that's for damn sure. But the defense was great all day again, as they have been primarily all season, and kept them around because the Jaguars aren't a very good football team. So that allowed the Texans to hang around and be in this game. And then the Texans offense clicked. Like, the Texans offense didn't just do enough to win. The Texans offense clicked and did well and played really well in the fourth quarter. So they deserve all of that credit that they earned this win. They didn't fail upward in this game. Kevin says, I got disgusted at halftime and went to work in the barn. Imagine my surprise to see the score pop up on the crawl. How about them apples, baby? Pretty cool. It's good to talk positively about the team, jokes aside. It's good to have some fun in the locker room and talking with the guys. We'll talk to them again tomorrow. D'Amico Ryan's at the podium, and perhaps, depending on my schedule, I should be able to do another Kicking It with Kunkel tomorrow as well. So appreciate everybody that chimed in tonight. Appreciate the Texans for winning so that we can have some fun. And if you haven't already, just do me a favor. Please subscribe to the channel. Set your alerts on so you know when I go live. And then also like the video. Help the algorithm out. Comment below and share with your friends, family, enemies, brothers, sisters, boyfriends, girlfriends, and all that. So, my man, the Rhino, I'll read because you're the man. If it doesn't impress someone when you're using a backup quarterback and half of our O-line and being down 19, I don't know what to tell you. See, that's another thing, man. Like, this win was earned. Nothing was given to you. You were not the healthiest team on the field this time. The Texans have been healthy. And I tweeted it this week. I was like, the Texans have been healthy all year. Now they're without Titus Howard, Ed Ingram, Jalen Petrie, and CJ Stroud. Like, what now? In what world are the Texans are going to go out there and win this game? And they proved that they were unhealthy for much of the game. They did not play very well, especially discipline-wise and on special teams. But then they put it together, and they came all the way back. And like I said, it is very hard to start taking on water at the start of the game, having to bail that water out, get the ship back up to sea level, then start the engines and get going. That's a hard way to play football. It's a hard way to win a race by shooting yourself in both feet to start the race and then getting going and then winning the race. That's what the Texans did against the Jaguars, though, so give them credit. They put it together when it mattered most, and they got the win. That's all I'll end this show. Congratulations to everybody, all the Texans fans. You get to join a Victory Monday tomorrow. And yes, Stingley showed up. Stingley showed up. The dude's a stud. Bye.